Now, I am not no mental health professional. I am not the guy you go to for diagnosis. But Lizzo, man, Lizzo's dope. But the things I've heard, the allegations I've heard, has been very suspect. And I've watched a couple of videos, some news outlets about Lizzo and this problem that she's going through, and found out that she quit recently. But also, what struck me the most is that I want to talk about the mental illness aspect of it, because there was a lot of things that the victims explained about Lizzo, the things that she was displaying, things that was said about her, had some narcissistic tendencies. So I'm going to break down what makes a narcissist. All right, being overly boastful, exaggerating one's own achievements, pretending to be superior to others, lack empathy for others, looking down on others as inferior, monopolizing conversations. Man, that's one thing I hate when you talk to a narcissist. They will literally flip it on you and make it look like you're the bad guy and all that. Impatient, angry, unhappy, depressed, or has mood swings when criticized. So remember all of this before we look at this reaction. Easily disappointed when expected importance is not given. Always crave for the best in everything. Has a very fragile self-esteem. So, we all know Lizzo. We all know what she looks like. She, obviously, people her size and the things that she's going through, the challenges that she's facing, isn't of a typical person, but a lot of people are obese out in the world. I don't want to look at the percentage of obesity in America, but I have to come to accept everybody as a whole and be very unbiased about what I am talking about. But other than that, the stress levels or anything she might be going through because of her size and everything that might be diluting her brain to make her feel some type of way, she has some sort of power, and she's obviously taking advantage of it, of the allegations that I'm hearing. So this particular narcissism isn't no regular overt narcissism like the video I made before. This is a sadistic narcissism. So I am going to show you it's not really a real diagnosed condition. It's a part of the same narcissism. It's like what they're displaying at that moment of time. So, a sadistic narcissist is described as a person who derives pleasure from causing physical or psychological pain to others. So, what you're going to hear in the reaction video is going to be pretty psychological and probably a little bit physical too. They are often charming and charismatic, which makes them difficult to spot. In simple words, the word sadistic refers to someone who gets enjoyment out of seeing or causing others to suffer. So, without any further ado, I am going to show you guys this video. Well, yeah, I really don't like regular news, so I like looking at other YouTubers have their takes on it. And this guy Jamari, I'm pretty sure everybody knows who Jamari is, if I'm saying his name right. Don't want to mess up names, but he's the guy that I go to hear about information about what's going on out there, because I really don't like sitting through the news and hearing them explain other different stuff. I like people getting right to the point, just very snappy. And Jamari is the guy to do it. And if you want to listen to any useful information, please go to Jamari, because he is dope. And not gonna see this video, but he's dope as hell. But yeah, I'm gonna show you guys what the things that I have read on screen and what things are. I don't think he talked about really like what's going on with her mentally. It's more of like what's going on, the allegations and all that about her and her quitting and all that. So we're gonna go through it.
It's been half a year since we last talked about Lizzo. Last time we caught up with the singer, her life, her reputation, and possibly her freedom were all crumbling before her very eyes. Y'all know Lizzo is essentially a walking Dove commercial at this point, all about quote-unquote body positivity.
I realized that my mere existence is a form of activism, especially in the body positive community, and I wear that hat really well. And I'm going to continue to put on and represent and create safe spaces for Black, fat women.
But according to the lawsuit filed against her, that couldn't be less true. Alarming allegations of fat shaming, SA, and many other Ellen DeGenerate-esque activities were being levied against the singer by the people she...
And I also want to mention that narcissism is a big thing going on in society. Like, I know I sound like a leftist and all that, but like, when it comes to social media and what's going on in this day and age, a lot of women in her position pretty much would act the way that she's acting, but not in exactly, but like they would display this don't fat shame me and all that, and it's like that type of attitude. I wouldn't know how to really explain it because like obviously we live two completely different lives. I can't say anything for her sake, but I mean, she is the way she is for a reason. Like, I've seen a lot of people her size that post things on the social media about their body and all that, and they also have a toxic way of thinking and the way of doing things. So narcissism is a really big thing in today's society, and it's also I think it's not talked about much when it comes to people in social media and like celebrities and all that. Like, obviously everybody's gonna have a sense of narcissism. Like, I can even say I'm narcissistic sometimes, but being like showing off your achievements, showing off that you're better than constantly every day is kind of alarming just a little bit.
Employees. These allegations all stem from a time period when Lizzo was working on a show for Amazon Prime titled Lizzo's Watch Out for the Big Girls.
What's up, y'all? It's Lizzo. I'm looking for dancers to join me on my tour. Girls that look like me don't get representation.
And the subsequent tour she did afterwards with the winners selected from said show. Namely, 3 backup dancers came out to sue Lizzo, her touring company, Big Girl Entertainment, and a judge on the show named Charlene Quigley. Basically, the allegations are that Lizzo is a power-hungry tyrant of a boss who felt she could treat people around her like dirt underneath her shoe.
When I saw them speak up, I thought that's what strong looks like, and I was really proud of them because I knew how toxic the work culture was on that tour firsthand.
They alleged she...
I also seen a little bit of that, and I think there are basically like 4 witnesses that was been there, but there could have been more. But I don't think no one's really speaking about it. All I've seen is from them, is from like the 3 witnesses that was on that One News, if anybody's seen that video, but yeah.
Did things like force them to get nude for photographs. She made the dancers go with her to the red light district in Amsterdam, which is known for having nude performers. Apparently during this show, Lizzo allegedly began inviting her dancers to take turns touching the club's nude performers. Apparently she made them also catch toys straight out of their vajayjay and even eat bananas that were protruding out of the same area.
The 3 women say they were pressured to attend the after-party events Lizzo planned because those who went were widely considered to enjoy greater job security.
Things start kind of getting a little weird. They start pulling out toys. They're
Who's
like
they?
The performers.
Okay.
Then they start taking out bananas, and the girl would like put them, in herself. Lizzo was encouraging people to like, oh, hey, you come do it. Hey, you come do it.
They even allege at one point that she encouraged one of her dancers, who was a known virgin, to touch one of these nude performers' breast.
She started a chant after I had said no multiple times. She was like, Ari, Ari. And then everyone kind of joined in, Ari, Ari. I briefly touched the performer, and withdrew my hands, and everyone kind of burst into laughter because me of all people, they thought it was funny that I was touching this performer.
I'm going to stop right there. So that obviously was one of the things that I read on Google or the search engine, whatever. But yeah, that is a big red flag of what, like, encouraging it, like trying to force people to do it, like pressure them, putting them in a wall. But if you don't do it, then they're gonna just have a whole episode about it.
Said, I feel unsafe, I feel disrespected, there's a bunch of mistreatment and just unprofessionalism going on. She basically started to ball up her fists and crack her knuckles, and she was like, ooh, you're so effing lucky right now, but she's like inching her way towards me, alluding to, you're so lucky I'm not going to hit you.
They also claim that during practice, Lizzo was so insane that at one point she made them dance for 12 hours straight, all in an attempt to keep their jobs. And then one of them even had to soil their own pants out of fear that she would be fired if she asked for a bathroom break.
Was I under the impression that if I left the stage, I would be fired? Yes. Did I unfortunately go to the bathroom on myself on one stage because I was so terrified? Yes. There is, in a court of law, I don't know, I'm not a lawyer, I don't know anything, but I know that if you ask someone to tell the truth, these things will come out of her mouth. If you have to say yes or no to these questions, she has to say yes because they are true. There was multiple witnesses.
She was allegedly...
I also just want to mention, like, the banana part. I'm pretty sure she wasn't sticking that in herself. So why would she want to make other people do it? You know what I mean? If she didn't do it herself. I mean, they didn't really specify if she did. Pretty much saying everybody else did, but that part kind of bothered me. But on her case, let me just rewind it just a bit.
In a court of law, I don't know, I'm not a lawyer, I don't know anything, but I know that if you ask someone to tell the truth, these things will come out of her mouth. If you have to say yes or no to these questions, she has to say yes because they are true. There was multiple witnesses.
She was allegedly known to single out and purposely embarrass dancers, as well as somehow be
you can't really argue that, right?
fat-phobic. Basically, this lawsuit makes it sound as though the dancers were treated like second-class citizens on this tour. Keep in mind, this all being after they signed up, worked extremely hard, and won a competition that was pitched as the dream chance to work directly with someone I'm sure at the time most of them loved and respected.
I look up to her so much, and I just want to follow in her footsteps, and I just want to share that with the Queen Lizzo herself.
I just wanted to stop right there. Like, so imagine being, like, having a good paying job, right? And that is your boss. Lizzo. Lizzo is your boss, all right? She going crazy. She probably drunk, probably on some drugs. And you're trying to work so hard to keep her happy. In the moment, like, you know how her attitude is, right? So, like, you feel like if you say anything to her, it's gonna be like, you ain't gonna get no pay raise, you're probably gonna lose your job in a couple of days. Like, there's a lot of things to risk, because you risked everything to get to that point. Why would you want to lose that over some dumbass shit? Excuse my language, but yeah, you know what I mean.
Furthermore, based on their experience, she seems to be the exact opposite of the person she portrays publicly, calling her political advocacy into serious question. And so you guys are probably wondering at this point, well, Jamari, why do you bring this all up? And it's actually because there has been some movement when it comes to this case, and it looks like we are going to see them actually go to court. So yesterday, Lizzo puts out this message to the world via her Instagram page, where she says, I'm getting tired of putting up with being dragged by everyone in my life and on the internet. All I want is to make music and make people happy and help the world be a little better than how I found it. But I'm starting to feel like the world doesn't want me in it. I'm constantly up against lies being told about me for clout and views, being the butt of the joke every single time because of how I look. Aw, poor Lizzo playing the victim. My character being picked apart by people who don't know me and are disrespecting my name. I didn't sign up for this shit. I quit, she says.
And a lot of people that is narcissistic doesn't really own up to, so like everything that you're reading, everything that he just said, is really narcissistic. Just like, she's not showing any sort of accountability for her actions in any aspect, any way, shape, or form. But at this point, we really don't know. It's kind of hard to tell, but I am personally taking their side on this, because it's weird for three different people, unless they just all three just planned it out, which that would be crazy, right? But I don't want to think that. I want to honestly think these people are genuinely hurt, and what the things that I'm hearing and the things that they're saying that she did, her actions, was very narcissistic, like sadistic narcissistic. Made somebody do something for her pleasure, for her own happiness. You know what I mean? But the things that she's saying right here, I mean, obviously, you know, she is going through stuff, but also she's not taking no sort of accountability what's going on in the post. Like, it's kind of like, and then also heard she's not publicly talking about it on camera, so that's another big red flag. So I don't know what the deal is there. Like, I know the lawyers tell her to be like shush, but at the same time, if you're trying to clear your name, you gotta like own up to something. You gotta say something, right?
And you know, guys, it's kind of hard for me to take her seriously when first off she was allegedly doing all of these sick things behind the scenes, but also when her Instagram account handle is literally Lizzo be eating. Of course the comments came out to absolutely destroy her. This guy says quitting eating? Ignore all the positive comments. They lying. See you at McDonald's next week. Maybe take a walk. A very long one. And now people are actually speculating that the real reason Lizzo is going to be taking some time away is due to the latest update in her court case.
Zyrtec allergy relief.
Where a judge denied her motion to completely throw this lawsuit out. So the judge on February 2nd denied Lizzo's motion to toss out the bombshell harassment lawsuit filed by 3 of her former backup dancers. Now keep in mind, he did actually dismiss certain accusations here, but he is going to be allowing the case as a whole to move forward to trial. Basically, what Lizzo and her team of lawyers were trying to do here was to get this case dismissed under California's anti-SLAPP statute, which to my understanding is when someone goes to the judge and they tell them, hey, this lawsuit levied against me is a bunch of nonsense, but because it is now a legal matter, I do not want to speak out publicly and try to defend myself because I don't want to open myself up to more litigation. Like, as you could see here, her lawyers argued that the accusers were using this lawsuit to silence her. But in the end, the judge would rule that that anti-SLAPP statute didn't fit all these different allegations, though he did toss out some claims, like the fat shaming claim, and the idea that people were discriminated against due to their mental health problems. It is dangerous for the court to weigh in, ham-fisted, into constitutionally protected activity. I believe there he's talking about Lizzo's right to free speech. But it is equally dangerous to turn a blind eye to allegations of discrimination or other forms of misconduct merely because they take place in a speech-related environment. So to me, he's saying, yeah, some of that stuff that she said does kind of fall under free speech, or kind of like he said, she said, but some of these other allegations must have a little bit more merit. I mean, peer pressuring someone to eat a banana out of someone's pussy, I mean, that's pretty insane. Now, from Lizzo's camps, they're essentially saying that
you don't just say that. You know what I mean? Okay, just think about it. Banana and vajayjay in a conversation, being talked about. I can believe something crazy like that. If it's something that not common and bizarre, I'm gonna be like, oh wow, that's interesting. Let me hear more. It's crazy.
These are just a bunch of disgruntled employees. They're arguing that Davis, Williams, and Rodriguez, who are the defendants in this case, had an axe to grind against the star because they had been reprimanded over a pattern of gross misconduct and have failed to perform their job up to par. So they're essentially saying, oh, these 3 girls, they're just being 3 sore losers because they couldn't make the cut, and in the end they weren't good enough to be part of my dance team. Plaintiffs embarked on a press tour, vilifying defendants and pushing their fabricated sob story in the courts and in the media. That ends today. Instead of taking any accountability for their actions, plaintiffs filed this lawsuit against defendants out of spite and in pursuit of media attention, public sympathy, and a quick payday with minimal effort.
Wow.
And apparently the judge even made a motion to dismiss the harassment allegation that came from that nude photo shoot that apparently some of these women did not want to partake in. And he also dismissed this other allegation that stated that Lizzo's camp was intentionally interfering with these dancers getting other jobs. So to me, it seems like the thing they're really going to be looking into here is that night at the red light district, where Lizzo seems to have been a very inappropriate boss with people who are obviously not only her subordinates, but people who she has several different power and influence levels over. So now Lizzo and the captain of this dance team, Charlene, will still have to face these allegations of harassment, as well as accusations of racial and religious discrimination. So obviously Lizzo is going to be fighting this thing tooth and nail with her reputation on the line.
I think it's extremely damaging in the court of public opinion because of the image that we've all believed Lizzo to be.
And so we're gonna see how this all plays out, but this is obviously going to change her reputation forever. And to me, her public image as this like body positive person, I think all that shit at this point is done. But I want to know what you guys think about this situation down below.
But yeah, man, everything that I'm hearing is like really messed up. But at the same time, she needs to reevaluate herself and really seek a therapist or someone to talk to, because that the things that I'm hearing is very overtly, like, it's a different type of narcissistic that is displayed when you have a certain degree of power over somebody, where you feel superior over, no matter what shape or size you are. Narcissism runs in anybody. If you're, if you achieve something, there's one thing that I've said in my philosophy is that when people get a little, they can literally take it to a mile. And I try to humble myself every day and try to make sure that my place, I find my place here. And I try not to think I'm better than, because I think everybody is equal. I will not treat anybody not as equal as the next, but I hope I make sense. But I hope you guys understand what I'm talking about. But yeah, pray for her, give her blessings, and I hope the victims find some sort of resolve for all of this, and that's all I have to say. You guys, peace out. I'll see ya.